round two. We are now live. So hi guys, this is Dr. Pam and I'm here with your burning question this week. Now, last week we talked about inflammation. And have you noticed that we're creating kind of a framework or a model of understanding? Why do I do that? Why do I constantly do that? Well, in my experience, I have found that people generally, when they assign meaning to it, when they understand what's going on, then they're more likely to implement. So just blindly following somebody and doing what they say, they're not as likely to hold fast to what they're doing, okay? But by creating some level of understanding of why you're doing it, and it doesn't have to be super in-depth, just a little bit, it helps you grab on. It helps you see that what you're doing is having an effect, especially in the early phases with holistic medicine when you're like, is it working? Is it not? Those kinds of things. So ultimately, what I've found through the years is that I know you want a list of what to do. I give action steps. But around that, I've put a framework around that in order for you to understand why you're doing it, at least on some level, so you'll continue to do it. Because when you get it, then you're going to know it, and then you're going to implement it. So that's what I'm talking about here, okay? So let me give you an example. If I told you to wear green shoes, 50% of you would say, she is a total nut bar. She's telling me to wear green shoes for what? Well, if you wear green shoes, you make money. Okay, 50% of you are going to say, she's a nut bar, I'm out of here. The other 50% have had some type of awareness of what I'm about. They know my reputation. They've worked with me or something along that line. So they're going, Dr. Pam says to wear green shoes to make more money, and she really does her scientific research, and I know that she knows what she's talking about. I'm not sure I understand it, but I'm going to do it, and so you're going to do it. And then what happens is that over time, the shoes may get a little bit uncomfortable, and I don't know, maybe they don't match your clothes, so they don't match all your outfits. And then, oh my God, your friends start making fun of you for wearing green shoes. What are you going to do? You're going to stop wearing green shoes because you have no significance attached to it to why you're doing it, okay? And it's just a statement. It's just somebody's belief, and you have no understanding of why it really works. Now, let's say I told you, okay, if you wear green shoes, it creates a neurosensory feedback loop that comes up to your brain, initiates a neural network that attaches your decision-making part of your brain to your subconscious and your unconscious. And it actually, without you knowing it, makes you make better decisions that will forward your financial gain. Are you going to wear green shoes? Yeah, because you understand it. And I've cited all kinds of research, right? So there's a reason why we do what we do, because you're going to do that. Now, there is no green shoe thing. I just made that up as an illustration. But the bottom line is, do you see, if you understand what's being done behind it, it's more tangible and more actionable for you. So last week we talked about inflammation. And as we continue to build this framework, I know a lot of you go, okay, Dr. Pam, I heard it, inflammation, bad. What else can you tell me? But in truth, not all inflammation is bad. The inflammatory cascade, as a matter of fact, has to happen for you to live. It has to happen for you to have good function in your body. It's part of health. And let me give you an example. You're running outside playing with your dog, or you're playing with your cat inside, and you get scratched on the arm right across, all right? You're going to go through an inflammatory cascade. And that cascade is going to look something like this. Now, in Latin, it's rubor, dolor, and calor. Rubor means redness, so think about it. You're going to see redness. Dolor is swelling. You're going to see swelling of those scratches. And calor is heat or calorie. And then you're going to feel the heat of those. But it's what happens below the surface of the skin. That's where the magic happens, because it initiates this inflammatory cascade that recruits all of the immune cells that are necessary to heal that scratch. And so ultimately, it will create this cycle, and when it's done, the body remembers the efficiency. And so the next time you have some type of trauma, acute trauma, the body's going to speed through its response, and that's what you want. You want to train it like an elite athlete again and again so that it has this great response. Well, suppose You run in after being scratched and you take an anti-inflammatory. Now, that stops the inflammation, it stops the swelling, it stops the external, and it also helps with the pain. But it also stops what's happening under the surface of the skin. And then what happens with the under the surface of the skin is that you create a state of stuckness. Okay, I'm not even sure that's a word, but let's just pretend it is. You get stuck. Your inflammation is stuck. Now, over time, your inflammatory response is going to be more and more sluggish because you stop it. This is why I take homeopathy for acute traumas that aren't life-threatening. Obviously, if they're life-threatening, we're going to have a different discussion. But I take homeopathics because they speed through the response. They push it through very quickly so you don't get stuck. That's why I do that. So you really want to pay attention to where the magic happens. Now, the modern lifestyle promotes a state of stuckness. It's not just anti-inflammatories, it's the processed foods that we eat, it's the environmental factors, what's blowing in the air, the plastics that we consume unintentionally, all of these things, all of these stress mechanisms, all of these things that happen in the modern lifestyle promote the stuckness, okay? So your question at this point might be, okay, I'm now a little depressed, Dr. Pam, and I'm thinking I'm turning off this video. Well, let me tell you something. You have the power to reignite that pathway. You have the power to bring the life back into your healthy system, okay? And there's really only two things that you need to do. One of them is that you favor and utilize and focus on whole foods because they're anti-inflammatory. Processed foods are straight inflammatory foods. Doesn't matter what you're eating, processed is straight inflammatory. Okay, it creates inflammation in the body. Now, is it reasonable in our society to actually have off-processed food? You can do that with your pets, right? But with yourself, you do the best that you can. There's no perfection in this world. There's only a willingness to give it a go, all right? And so ultimately, those nutrients provide the cofactors that push the magic along. It's amazing how that works, right? The second thing that you do is you increase your recuperative force of the body. Now, the traditional Chinese medicine calls it qi. The chiropractic realm calls it the innate. The Ayurvedic system calls it prana. The homeopathic force is called vital force. What's cool is they have all different names, but it's the same stuff. It's the ability of your body to recuperate. And that's what's incredible about it. So you augment that. And there are ways to do that. Hi, Sandra. Oh my God, you're in Hawaii. How incredible. So anyway, if you actually utilize things that promote that, then you're going to have a better response. So Dr. Pam, stop talking. Tell me what promotes that. Well, guess what? Just so happens, it happens to be the holistic modalities. So acupuncture, chiropractic, homeopathy, body work, including massage, including acupressure. You've got laser. You've got the PEMF devices, the pulsed electromagnetic field therapy devices. Those things are great ways to increase the vital force. And then you look at me and say, okay, I can have a holistic vet. I've seen you or I've seen somebody else to do that, but what can I do at home? Well, we go back to the whole foods thing. Do you understand where the power is when you feed them real food? It's powerful. You take the life of your pet away from just everybody else and all the things that are creating problems, and you take it back and you make it vital, okay? And then you can use some things at home. Certainly you can do massage. Certainly you can do other things. You can also, and one of the big things that I want to talk about next week are your PEMF devices, because I'm going to tell you something. If you improve circulation of the body, and I don't mean just the vein and artery stuff, I'm talking about the capillaries, what we call microcirculation. If you move things around, your body's innate mechanisms are going to be able to get where they need to get. Does that make sense? And then you can harness that power and use it against the inflammation that's building in your body or your pets. I mean, I guess this applies to all of us, right? So ultimately, you have more power than you think. You really do. And I'm here to teach you how to harness that. Next week, we're going to get into the PEMF devices. I have ordered 2 and used 2 for the last 6 months, and I'll give you my opinion on those. But also, I'm going to give you the mechanisms of how that works. Why? Because I want you to have a little bit of understanding that will make you move forward, right? That will make it actionable, because that's what we're here for. I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys. I love you all. Take care. Bye-bye.